When editing any of your abstracts, I would start with setting up a quick crop. And you can crop out as much or as little as you want, but I would not do crop out too much because otherwise you're going to end up with something that is pixelated. So you want to be careful that you don't crop out too much of your image. So I think this is about right. I'm going to crop that. I don't think that it is straight, or not straight. I don't think it looks good sideways, so I'm going to rotate it by going to image rotation, 90 degrees counterclockwise. I think it looks pretty good. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a separate layer and use my spot healing brush tool and just clean it up a little bit and get rid of any of these other pieces that I don't want. You can edit this any way that you want. You can change things, you can take things out, you can put things in. I'll show you some examples later. But take a couple minutes and clean up your image before moving on to anything else. Once you have cleaned it up, you can do a couple different things. One, you might want to, or you probably should, do a levels adjustment and fix your contrast. Remember, you have your highlight slider, you have your shadow slider. I would use the levels adjustment, but you can kind of adjust this any way that you want to make it into the way that you want it to look. From here, you could also add, if you wanted to, even a color balance adjustment, if you wanted to add a little bit more blue, or if you wanted to add a little bit more magenta to change the colors a little bit, you could absolutely do that. Remember, you can also make it black and white and make your adjustments as well. And make a black and white image. They do not have to be color by any means. You can do this any way that you want. The last thing I want to show you is if we take our fixed layer, I'm just going to merge these together and do a Command J to make a duplicate. If we switch this from normal to something like overlay, notice it makes it a little bit darker, but if we rotate this, and I'm just going to do Edit, Transform, and rotate 180, or you could do flip horizontal or vertical and make a symmetrical image. Notice that you get quite an interesting little composition just by blending it down. And you can switch this to anything that you want. You could do even light and it gives you more of a pastel type of feel. Or you do something like soft light can also give you a very interesting composition. You could also combine two images. Say I take this image and I'm just going to do a Command A to make a selection of the entire thing. And then I'm going to do a Command C. And you could just drag and drop if you want to. And then I'm just going to do a Command V to paste it right on top of this other layer here. And then switch this one to something like overlay or something of that nature. Then you have a kind of a cool composition just by combining two images. And I could always, make another duplicate layer, put that on top of it, and blend that down as well. So I really get a multi-layered type of effect. And I could do a Command U and switch my hue on that one and get kind of a different photo effect. You can really do this any way that you want. You could even rotate this one and play around with that if you wanted to make a much more interesting composition than if it was just like this. So you really can play around with your images as much as you want. Have fun!